rich. Okay, and that's what happened. Okay, he's not rich. Sorry, he's not handsome, but he's rich. Okay, so the thing is that this guy, he uses his body language. If you have watched his sitcom called Mr. Bean, okay, so that half an hour or 1 hour sitcom or the session on a daily basis, he would rarely speak less, so more than 100 words or even more than 50 words. Okay, he would only probably speaking 40 words, 30 words in the entire half an hour sitcom. All right, so that means he actually uses his body language, full-fledged body language, and that actually captivates the entire audience itself. Okay, and that makes him famous. Till today, no, not everyone knows his name is actually Rowan Atkinson. Most of them calls him as Mr. Bean, and that became his brand itself. Okay, and then if you look at the other side, is the famous comedian, Tamil comedian, which is Vadivelu. So he also, apart from his dialogue, his major acting skill comes from his body language, okay, which actually creates the humor itself. A lot of his comedies, okay, a lot of his movies, which you have seen, apart from the words that he used, it's actually the body language that actually captivates people, okay, and still he's one of the renowned comedian in Tamil cinema industry. Okay, so let's move on. If you realize body language, great speakers. If you realize that Anthony Robbins, Les Brown, Simon Sinek, okay, the other one is yours truly. All right. So these guys keep their body open. You cannot be keeping your body closed, okay, or structured, or in the sense of a very strict. Okay, this will actually so-called detach yourself from the audience. So what you need to do is open your body. All right, so how to open your body, later I'll go through step by step. All right, so the thing is that these people became popular. It's not because they dress up well, or is it because they are so rich, okay, or is it because they have a lot of fan following. It's because one of the reason, their body language, okay, that actually captivates or captures the audience attention. Let's move on. So these are the 5 elements of body language. Okay, so the first one is facial expression, then moved by eye contact. Okay, then followed by hand gesture, then body posture itself, and finally leg pacing. So there are actually 5 different aspects in your body language itself. So people may feel, so long my body is fine, I'm okay, I'm a good speaker. No, you must look at each and every aspect, especially when you're in front of the camera or in front of the stage, okay, or sorry, in front of the audience on the stage. So these 5 different elements you must look into. So let's move to the first element, which is the facial expression. So if you look at the facial expression, these are the basic 6 facial expressions, okay, which is anger, joy, surprise, okay, or displeasant, okay, or sadness, or fear. So you have 6 different types of basic facial expressions. Of course, if you go deeper, there are even more than that. But these are the basic 6 different facial expressions. Okay. So the thing is that whenever people say something, okay, and you want to communicate back, if let's say your face is joyful, people may think you're taking things lightly. Okay, or let's say when people say something, your face becomes anger, it means people say, oh, you're taking everything into deep into your heart. That's not good. Okay, or when you say something, sorry, or people say something, you get scared, your facial expression shows that. Okay, especially if you want to go into a dark area, or in the sense of, let's say there's a cockroach or a lizard, then you feel fear, that's your facial expression changes, then people see that you're afraid. Okay, so your facial expression actually portrays in what kind of situation or condition you are. Right, so whether are you in a sad situation, or are you in a happy situation, or are you in a disguise or a displeased situation, okay, or are you in a sad emotional situation, so your facial expression can show that. Okay, so how I can say is that, example, a singing competition, you have won a singing competition. This is how I can say, I won a singing competition, I got the first prize, and they gave me $5,000. This is how you're feeling excited. This is another facial expression. I won the singing competition. I won $5,000 and they gave me first prize. This is more on a sad note. Or in another way, I won the singing competition. I won the first prize and they gave me $5,000. You see, different kind of facial expression. The same words, okay, the same material, but different way of expressing it. And your face can show that. All right. So that's why your facial expression is very, very crucial here. Then we move on. Make sure your facial expression suits your situation and the emotion. As I say, if that particular situation you're explaining is more on sadness or sorrow, make sure your facial expression also goes towards that. Or let's say if you're telling something on joyful, happiness, some excitements, then make sure your face is excited or happy. All right. Or let's say you want to say something which actually uh, displease you, all right, which makes you anger, then you can show an angry face. All right. So your facial expression is crucial here. Next, we move on to eye contact. All right, as I see, I'm actually focusing on the camera. Okay, although I'm talking to all of you, but my main focus will be on the camera. So my eye contact has to be on the camera. All right, so that it feels like I'm talking to you. But when you're on the stage, there could be 1,000 people listening to you. And your task is to at least cover 90% of them. So you may be asking, there are 1,000 of them. I only have 5 minutes to speak. How you want me to cover 90%, which is 900 of them? I will teach you a little tips later. What your task is to actually pace through each and every audience 1 to 2 seconds. All right. So 1 to 2 seconds, when you look at the audience, they feel they are connected to you. So that is one. And next, you need to divide the hall into 4 segments or 6 segments. Okay, depending on the size of the hall. All right. When I used to speak in Kel Convention Center, the main auditorium, they have actually 2 levels. Okay, where you have at least 4,000 packs sitting down. So when you have those kind of situation, you need to break the hall not into 2, but actually 6 to 8. Okay, because you have the first level, okay, which is 2,000 of them. Then you have the second level, which is another 2,000 of them. So I need to focus the upper deck, and I also need to focus on the lower deck. All right. So you need to break or divide the hall into 4 to 6 segments. And this is the common issues that usually presenters or the speakers will do when they have slides and assume the slide is behind me and I'm just standing next to it. All right. This is what will happen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'm going to present today. As you see, the graph has increased. All right. This means we need to do a cost reduction. As you can see, the revenue has dropped. It means we need to increase the sales. As you know, the operating expense has reduced. So that means we are good in managing the expense. Nevertheless, if you realize the headcount has increased, it means we need to control our headcount. Ladies and gentlemen, if you realize, I was supposed to present the slides to the audience. But what I'm doing is I'm actually talking to the slides. This is another way where people get disconnected towards the speaker. All right, because the speaker is not speaking to the audience. So you can have the slides, that's fine, but never let the slides to control you. All right. So what you can do is you can memorize the points, or you can just pick at the slide. All right. Just the main skeleton would do on the slides. You or whatever explanations or examples, okay, or clarification, it's from you. So you give it to the audience itself. So this is how the diagram looks like. Okay, let's say your hall is big. You can break it into 6 segments. Okay, so the first segment is towards the left-hand corner. Okay, then you move on to the center, which is in front. Then you move on to the right-hand corner here. Okay, then you come forward here to the right in front, and then you go to the middle point at the back. Then you come towards the left hand, okay, at front. So with this, when you look at different segments, the audience feel that you are with them. All right. Example I can give you is today Our country's economy is bad, all right, but we need to admit it. But nevertheless, what I can say is we need to engage our expenses. We need to monitor our foreign direct investments. Apart from that, we also need to focus on our imports. The more we import, the more cash outflow it goes. And nevertheless, we can also focus on our local products. Local products enhances cash flow and we can increase the exports. So if you realize, I started from the middle, I looked at my left, I looked at my right, I looked at the back, I looked in front. Okay, so this actually makes me to actually focus on the entire audience itself. All right. So how the direction should go, you can change it. It doesn't mean you must start from right at the back. Okay, then you go to the left back, then you go left forward. No, you can change the different situation so long you have focus on each and every quadrant. All right, or each and every segment itself. Let's move on. The next is on the hand gestures. As you know, a speaker need to have open body. Open body in the sense of it comes with the hand gestures. Hand gesture, when you look at my palm, it's open. Okay, you cannot be closing or locking your palms. Okay, this is a common mistakes a speaker would usually do. Okay, either they lock their hands, okay, or they clasp their hands, or they put their hands in the pocket. Worst case, they put their hands at the back. Okay, don't lock your hands either in front or at the back. Keep it open. Should you feel there is no much usage of a hand, you can actually make it in this manner, not here, but in this manner. When you make it this manner, let's say you want to present or stress on a point, you can immediately open and stress a point. Okay, example, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really glad to see all of you. All right, please be seated. All right, you'll be served shortly. So if you realize, I didn't clasp my hand, but it's the fingers are merely touching. All right, but it's still open. So whenever I want to stress on certain point, I can always do that. All right. Next, never ever use index finger. Okay, I stress on every one of you. All of you must drink water every day, at least 2 liters. This shows that you are authoritative, you are commanding, right? Therefore, never use your index finger. Should you really want to use a finger, use your thumb, but close the other 4 fingers. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you our speaker. Okay, he's just sit over there. So when you say he's just seated over there, your thumb is pointing, all right? At least the other 4 fingers are towards you, right? The best would be when you want to point at someone, it's better to have your hands open, okay, or palm open. Ladies and gentlemen, here you have our speaker seated over there, all right? Let's give him a round of applause, all right? So by having this kind of hand gesture, it shows you are pleasant, you are friendly, right? And next, ensure your palm is facing up, not down. All right. I will explain to you later when the example comes. All right. Assume you are speaking to a group of students. Okay, they are sitting in front of you. You have the left and the right portion. So this is the example. Students on the right, can you raise up and move to your left? And students on the left, can you raise up and move to your right? And kindly be seated. So this is one way how you have your palms open. Next, let's see how if your palms are facing downwards. Students on my left, raise up, move to your right. And students on my right, raise up and move to your left. And all of you, please be seated. Feel awkward, right? And let me show you another example. Students on my left, stand up, move to your right. Students on my right, stand up, move to your left. All of you, sit down. It feels awkward or funny, right? At the beginning, you feel more authoritative or commanding, right? So it will be always friendly or user friendly to have your palms open, facing up, all right? And next, you may feel, I cannot be speaking all the time with my palms open and facing up. I still need to fist or close my fingers to stress some points. I agree with that, all right? So example, Let's say you're doing a cooking show, and let's say you're doing a Dolgana coffee, the popular coffee which is going viral. So what you can do is, ladies and gentlemen, to do the Dolgana coffee, first of all, you must take a glass of milk. So that's your first step. Second, you take few ice cubes, depending on the level of temperature you would like to require. Third, take the coffee powder, just 2 teaspoons, pour some water. The fourth step, stir it until it becomes thick. The fifth step, pour it onto the milk, which has the ice cube. Thereafter, Dolgana coffee is ready. You can enjoy it. So if you realize, I use number 1, number 2, number 3. All right. So when you want to stress this kind of points, step by step elements, you can use that. That's fine, but never stay onto it. All right. Another example I can give you is how when you motivate students. All right. Dear students, all of you must work hard, and whatever obstacles you have faced, keep moving forward. I'm sure the success is just on the way. So if you realize, I did have the hands fist. Okay, my fingers were closed, but I didn't just continue throughout the sentence. I opened my palms still. So when you want to stress certain points, you can close your fingers. That's fine, but don't keep it as a practice for the entire sentence or entire speech. All right, only during the stressing of the point, you just keep it on this kind of sentence, okay, or this kind of a motion. As the research shows by Alan and Barbara Pease, okay, they have realized that pointing fingers only attract 28% of the audience. Whereas when the palms are down, only 52% of the audience are attracted. Whereas when your palms are up, at least 84% of the audience are attracted towards your speech. So it means the gesture of the palm is very, very crucial, right? And another mistakes that speakers would usually do is they will do this Barney style. You know, if you have watched this American kids program or cartoon called Barney, right? So Barney is actually a dinosaur, right? And usually the hand gestures are this way, right? So imagine if I'm speaking to you this way. Ladies and gentlemen, all of you need to be motivated. And after motivation, I'm sure you feel excited. But nevertheless, any obstacles you face, keep yourself strong. Your success will be coming to your future. This is what I call Barney style. It means basically my elbow and shoulder is basically stuck to my body. All right. It's only my palm is moving or my wrist is moving. Great. Never ever do this gesture. Right. Then we move on to the posture. Okay, the next element. When you are speaking, if you realize my posture, I don't bend or I don't face up. Okay, my boss posture is straight, stunned. Okay, it's not straight in the sense of I'm singing a national anthem. It's still relaxed, but it's still strong enough to actually face the audience, and audience don't feel that I am like strict army officer or military officer. All right, so long I'm feel relaxed. Okay, that can actually attract audience. And usually what people will do is when they're given a rostrum, especially keynote speeches or leadership speeches, there is a tendency for us to actually stuck with the rostrum. It means you put down the notes on the rostrum, your elbows are on the rostrum. It means your chest or your belly is already touching the rostrum. That means your posture is wrong. Let me stress you again. Okay, this is my hand gesture. Let me stress you again. When your body is touching the rostrum, it means your belly or your chest is touching the rostrum and your entire elbow is already on the rostrum. Okay, elbow towards the palm is already on the rostrum. You're on a wrong posture. You should actually leave a gap at least 5 to 10 centimeters, all right, between yourself and the rostrum. You can have your notes, that's fine, all right, but nevertheless, never let your body to touch a rostrum. Why am I saying that? Let's say when you're stuck with a rostrum, okay, then should I want to move to my left or should I want to move my right? it will be a bit difficult because the rostrum is there as an obstacle for me. Should I step 5 to 10 centimeters back, I am actually able to actually turn my body, especially when you're in a big auditorium where you have 1,000, 2,000 people and you have a rostrum, you need to face different audience. As I said, your eye contact should be there. Okay, when your eye contact is required, it means your posture also follows your eye contact. You cannot have your posture stuck here and moving your face this way or your head this way, all right, or up this way. It looks very awkward. Rather than saying, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to see all of you here. It looks very awkward, right? It would be different when you say, ladies and gentlemen, it's very pleasant to see all of you here today. I'm sure you'll gain something out of this session today. So you see, my rostrum is still there because I'm actually standing 5 to 10 centimeters back. I'm actually able to move my body. I'm not moving my leg. My leg is still stuck on the floor. Okay, I'm not moving 2 steps back or 3 steps back. It's just that my body is moving. All right. So this is one way where you can have a better eye contact and a strong body posture too. All right. But nevertheless, should you want to enact something, okay, you can always change your body structure. All right. So example, I was actually tying my shoe. Suddenly, I saw a guy running. So he realized I'm still running, okay, on the same place, but I'm still looking at the audience. Okay, you can always change that to actually enact something. That is fine. When you have a scenario to play or to enact or you play a particular role, that is fine. Okay, so especially when I say to my kid, son, you must be disciplined, you must study hard. All right, so if you realize as a dad, I'm talking to my son, I'm looking down. All right, and assume my son is talking to me. Okay, dad, I adhere to your words, I'll follow your steps. So you see, I'm actually looking up, it's because I'm actually playing or enacting my son's role. Okay, that is fine. Right, so when you're enacting someone's role, you are okay or fine to change your body structure. And finally, as I said, you have to be relaxed. Okay, don't be like a military officer. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to see all of you here. All right, I'm sure you will enjoy the session today. Do good, please be safe. It definitely looks awkward. Right, so never ever make your body to be straightforward. All right, be relaxed. And leg pacing. All right, this is the final element for that body language topic. Right, leg pacing is very crucial because assume you have a big stage. All right, you need to move around to actually connect with the audience. If you have a rostrum, then you're fine. You are stuck at one place. But if you are going to speak without a rostrum and assume you have 1,000 of them, I was actually in Penang at Gurney Hotel 4 years ago. I was speaking in front of the audience, right? There were 800 of them sitting in front of me. And the front row, there were actually 30 of them. And of course, followed by another 40 or 30, right? So 25 to 30 rows behind. So the thing is that when I have 30 of them in front and I'm standing in the middle, I need to cover the 15 on my right, 15 on my left. So I still need to move around the stage. Okay, so it doesn't mean I start from the middle, I just get stuck in the middle. No, I still need to move around so that I can get engaged with the audience. All right, so you need to check. This is also the pre-work which I discussed during the first and the second session, where before you speak, you need to gauge how big is the hall, how big are the audience. All right, so you know how many steps you need to move forward, backward, or left or right. All right, but nevertheless, always start from the middle and end at the middle. All right, this is how you begin with strong and end strong. All right, and don't shuffle on the stage. When I say don't shuffle on the stage, in the sense of assume this is what I'm going to speak. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to give you some healthy advices. The first tips I want to share with you is you need to exercise 20 minutes every day. All right, either you jog or you go to gym or you go for swimming. Okay, you do something which you feel sweat, and followed by you must take a healthy, clean diet. Okay, you take a lot of vegetables, you take a lot of fruits, you drink water. All right, at least 8 glasses of water or 2 liters of water. All right. Thereafter, the third tips I would like to share with you is you must have at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep. All right, make sure you have adequate sleep. If you realize I'm actually moving front, backward, moving front, backward. Okay, so eliminate this. Stand firm at one location and move with purpose. All right, that is one crucial point. Okay, that actually wrapped up the first segment, which is on the body language. Now we move on to the vocal variety. Okay, vocal variety is very crucial because, as I said, the 55% comes from there. And it comes under the volume, tone, and pace. Okay, so I will usually break your vocal into three different parts. All right, so we look into each and every of these three elements. When I say volume, now I'm speaking with you on ordinary voice. Okay, sometimes you need to soften your voice. Okay, and let's say if you have a soft voice, not everyone born with a loud voice, right? Some will have a softer voice. That is fine. If you are in a hall, request for a mic, okay? Or if you can't really speak loud, then get the audience to get closer, all right? Or you go closer. Sometimes there is no mic. I even tend to go down below the stage in the sense of speaking with the audience directly, all right? I usually don't go up on the stage because there's no mic, all right? So that's one. Should your voice is loud, some people will have that strong, thick voice. They call it bass voice, you know. So when you have this kind of a bass voice, you need to practice to lower your volume at certain point of time. Or sometimes you need to discuss with the PA system guys to actually manage the volume, all right, so that it doesn't shout or scream. Okay, so that is one crucial part which is comes under volume. So example of volume I can say is like a school announcement. Okay, dear students, I would like to let you know that tomorrow we have a special meeting. All the students are required in their school uniform. Please ensure all your school uniforms are clean, including your shoes and socks. Please be there tomorrow. So you see, the volume is on a higher tone. Okay. Nevertheless, it never softens down. Second example I can give you is the sports announcement. Usually, if you go for a commentator, right? Okay. So the commentator will speak in this way. If you go for a boxing match, I used to watch this boxing match in 1997 where Mike Tyson was going against Evander Holyfield, one of the classic match where Mike Tyson actually bite Evander Holyfield's ear. Okay, so before they come towards the ring or when they're already on the ring before the fight starts, this is what the announcer will announce. Okay, on my left hand side at the blue ring corner, there is Evander Holyfield. He is the 2 times WBC champion, 3 times WBA champion, 1 time IBC champion. And let me announce the undefeated Evander Holyfield. You realize towards the end, when I say Evander Holyfield, I actually increase my volume. So you can do that if you're an announcer. So depending on the situation. Okay, it doesn't mean you must speak on the same tone. Where else on the first scenario I gave on the school announcement, it's on the same volume, all right, although it's on the high side. Next is on the pace. Every minute should have only 80 to 100 words. Okay, should you have more than 100 words, it means you tend to speak fast because you need to finish off your speech within the timing. Or should you have lesser than 60 words, that means you have more action to do, all right, to cover up the words. Example, if you look at the film directed by director Hari, okay, like Singham, Sami, compared to director Maniratnam, okay, so these two directors are in different genre. If you look at the script of a segment, okay, or a screenplay for Hari, it goes 15 to 20 pages because he has so much of dialogues. Where else Maniratnam, he only has only 5 pages because of the pace that he goes. Okay, so different people will have different style. Hari go more on lot of dialogues and the dialogues will go fast. Okay, especially when you go watch Singham 1, okay, the dialogues go very fast. But when you look at Mani Ratnam style, especially Talabadi, when he's the Rajinikanth speaks to Shobana, right, the pace that both of them communicates, okay, the entire scene will take 5 minutes, but they'll have only few words. They'll be looking at each and everyone's eyeballs, and there'll be different songs or background musics will be coming in. Okay, so this is how Mani Ratnam plays. Okay, the pace will be very, very slow. Okay, so what I'm suggesting is, I'm not asking you to speak at Hari's style or Mani Ratnam style. You just speak on a steady pace. Okay, 80 to 100 words per minute. Okay, but you can always create excitement when you want to do a fast pace kind of thing. Okay, let me give you an example. When you have a sports commentator, assume Brazil versus Germany 2002 World Cup. Okay, so this was the final. So here's how the commentator was speaking. Okay, so Oliver Hahn takes the goal kick. It goes to Stefan. Stefan takes the shot. Or Dida catches it. All right, Dida takes the goal kick. It goes to Roberto Carlos. Roberto Carlos passes to Rivaldo. Rivaldo passes to Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho overtakes the midfielders, overtakes, goes by the D box. He passes back to Ronaldo. And here you go, Ronaldo pass back to Rivaldo. Rivaldo goes back to Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho pass back to Ronaldo. And Ronaldo takes a shot and it's goal! If you realize, I started with the normal pace. Then I started speaking fast because of the excitement. Okay, he was going towards the goalpost. They were passing each other, and he was trying to attack and go towards the goal. All right. So once he start scoring the goal, I increase my volume. All right. So that's what you call the pace. Okay, where I try to speak fast, and when I increase the volume towards the end, when I say goal. So that is one way. All right. So another example I can give you is the dark street. Assume you're walking alone after your office hours. You're walking towards your home. There's no cars. And there's some sounds of birds flying around. Suddenly, you heard a bang. You saw the excitement there. You saw the suspense. So I was slow. I was not talking on my normal pace. I was slow. Suddenly, I increased the volume to actually try to create the excitement, the scariness. Okay. Another example is, why did you walk all the way from your house when you can take a cab? Okay, this is a normal pace. Why did you walk all the way from your house when you take a cab? A different pace could be, why did you walk all the way from your house when you take a cab? Another way is, why did you walk all the way from your house when you can take a cab? You see three different paces, but the second pace looks more logic. Okay, it's because when I say, why did you walk all the way from your house when you can take a cab? So you see, when I started with the word when, I had a pause in between, a break. Okay, so in a speech, you must also apply comma and full stop. That comma and full stop is actually your pause. Okay, so the pause in the sense of, you must leave half a second to 1 second depending on the situation after each and every sentence or segment. Okay, so assume for the second line, all of you must take note that smoking is hazardous to health and waste of money. So that is a normal way, but I can leave a pause in between in this way. All of you must take note that smoking is hazardous to health and waste of money. So if you realize, when I say waste of money, I didn't say waste of money. I say waste of money. But nevertheless, I actually had a stop or a pause after the word health. Okay, let me repeat again. All of you must take note that smoking is hazardous to health and waste of money. So I started slow, even slower. Then I had a pause in between. Then when I finished it, I finished it on a faster pace. So this is how you can vary your pace depending on the situation, depending how well are you suited with the words and the sentence structure. All right. And next, we go to the tone and the pitch. Okay. So when I say tone and the pitch, right, it actually depends on the word that you want to choose to stress on. Okay. So example, I like to play football. Okay. I like to play football. It's a simple five word sentence. But let me change the tone a bit. I like to play football. I like to play football. So here I'm actually stressing on the word football. Let me go to the second example. I like to play football. I like to play football. So I want to stress the word like here. Okay, so it means I'm not talking about anything that I dislike. I'm only talking about what I like. Okay. On a third example, I like to play football. I like to play football. Here, I'm actually stressing on me. I'm not stressing on anyone else, only me. Okay. So it depends on which word you want to stress on when you want to speak. All right. So next is you have to choose the emotions, use the sentence that you want to portray on. Okay. Example is on the next slide here. Don't touch, it's hot. Don't touch, it's hot. You don't have the feeling, right? If I change to this manner, don't touch, it's hot. You see the tone. I increase the tone. Don't touch, it's hot. So I want to stress on the hot. I say touch, and I increase the tone. Okay. The second sentence is keep quiet. The baby is sleeping in the room. It doesn't sound well. Okay. But if I change the tone, keep quiet. The baby is sleeping in the room. So here I actually lowered down my pitch. Okay. Because I want to be more softer. I didn't reduce my volume, but the sense of I still had the pitch. I still stress on the words. Okay. Another way is the excitement. Hooray, I have won the title. It doesn't sound good. But if I say, hooray, I won the title. So you see, this is the different types or methods you can actually increase or reduce your tone or pitch of your speech itself. Okay, so you must actually break down your points and come out with the proper sentence structures, which is a major element or major sentence structures. Then you move on to speak, right? So the summary here is actually your body speaks and find your voice. On the body speaks, as I said, you have 5 elements: facial expression, eye contact, hand gestures, postures, and leg pacing. And on the voice or the vocal variety, you have volume, tone, and pace. All right. So on body, you have 5 elements. On the voice, you have 3 elements. All right. So these are the 2 important aspect, okay, or the 8 important elements that going to make your speech powerful. All right. So with that, let me actually open up the session for Q&A session. So feel free to ask if you have any clarification, or you can also type it at the chat box here. So just another tips I would like to share is on the vocal variety. So sometimes when you speak for half an hour, 1 hour, your throat can get dry, okay, because you're actually speaking from your diaphragm. But sometimes when there's a lack of energy, you tend to attack your throat, okay, because the thing is that it's like a paper, okay, when you're holding a paper, when nothing happens, the paper stands still. But imagine when there's a strong wind blows, you hear some noise, right? Okay, so the wind is the air. So same thing to our body. When you have the air in your body, you tend to speak stronger, okay, your voice can projection comes better. But when you have lack of air, then you have a tendency actually to speak softer, or there's a lack of energy in your speech itself. So the important element is to have more oxygen in your body. So people always ask how to have oxygen. You know, I can't be taking oxygen tank and fixing on my nose or mouth, right? So the major tips would be, of course, to have exercise. Exercise actually can actually open your lungs, okay, to have a better breathing. Okay, so I'm not asking you to, go play a 90 minutes football or, a full marathon running. It's just that you exercise. So long you exercise, your heart pumps better, and of course your lungs can actually absorb more air. Okay, and you can enhance your voice and the vocal variety itself. So, any other clarifications? So some would say singing songs can assist. Is that true? For me, it does, because singing, you have a different tone, right? Okay, so you have a higher tone, lower tone, the pitch. Especially if you have been to choir, you have four different groups: alto, soprano, bass, tenor. So that can actually also enhance your voice projection. Okay. Another way is people always say I'm good with my vocal, but my pronunciation is an issue. Okay, because of my accent. The thing is that so long you can speak slowly, whatever accent you have, it's fine. Okay. And the second thing is, so long you have the habit of read out loud, okay, for 5 minutes, okay, or 10 minutes, just read out a text or a book, it's fine. Okay, so long you have that, you can actually enhance your vocal projection. Just like when you're in a first standard or second standard, when the teacher asks you to stand up and read what's on the board, you tend to do that. But when you go towards a later stage, especially in university or high schools, the tendency of you to read out or to speak has reduced. And now, of course, with the gadgets, with the chats, your tendency for you to speak has, of course, reduced. Okay, so this is why I always advise, try to speak more, try to read out loud more. It's not only reading, but read out loud. Okay, that's quite crucial. Right. So we have like roughly 12 more minutes to go. So any other clarifications? So on the body language, some people will ask, how do I know whether my body structure or the stance that I'm doing is very good? One way is, if you have a mirror, rehearse in front of the mirror, see how's your body structure is like. Or in other way is, of course, you have your phone or a tab with you, right? So you can always put on a selfie mode and try to practice on that. Okay, so that's these two tips I can share with you. Usually, this is what the speakers would do. So even nowadays, the YouTubers, when they want to try to do some makeup things, right, they always switch to selfie mode and they actually demonstrate how to do the makeup. So it's similar for a speaker. You just switch to your selfie mode and try to do your voice projection, try to do your body language, see how it suits your speech or not. Okay, or whether are you comfortable with those body languages or not. Right. Okay. So let me check the chat box. Okay. So how to address the hostile group? Okay, so addressing a hostile group, especially the group which you don't know, or sometimes it's new to you, right? I always recommend you must have a strong opening. Okay, it's much as how you connect with the audience. So usually I would suggest is either you do a comedy, okay, just to attract the audience, or another way is you ask question, okay, let the audience to answer, or throw a jokes, okay, or do a drama kind of thing. That can be one. Or usually when I do with the school kids, right? Usually some of the school kids are very timid. So what I'll do is I'll offer chocolates. If anyone wants to answer my question, you'll get a chocolate, okay, or a sneaker or a Kit Kat. So this can actually attract audience to speak. All right. Another way is let the audience to share the experience. Okay. So you throw back an open-ended question, let the audience to answer. So from there you can engage the audience. Or another method sometimes I'll do is, if the location or the people is superbly new for me, I will arrive there early, okay, or one day before, and try to meet up with few of the audience. If it's a conference, you can always arrive there 1 hour early, try to meet up with the audience, try to engage, exchange cards, you get to know about them. So at least you get to know some elements of them, and you can try to connect with whatever they have or they have spoken, their experience. That can actually be an icebreaker also for you. Or another way is do icebreaker itself. Usually what I'll do is I'll ask the audience to stand up. Okay, give a strong high five to the person left and right of you. If you give your high five is soft, your friendship is also soft. Now give a stronger high five. All right. Or another way is usually business conferences when I attend. I usually speak just after the lunch, and they'll be very boring people. They are just tired after the lunch, right? So what I'll do is I'll say, now I want all of you to get up, take out your business card, exchange with 5 different people. So that can actually break the ice. And what I'll do, I'll give them 1 minute, only 1 minute. So when it comes to 30 seconds, I try to rush them. Guys, only 30 seconds. Rush up, rush up. There's only 30 seconds. There's only 25 seconds. There's only 20 seconds. So when I say 20 seconds, 10 seconds, the crowd will be moving faster and faster and faster. Right. So from hostile, they become very active group now. Right. So this is another way or tips I can share how to actually engage those kind of audience. So just to let you know, next Sunday, which is our 4th segment, okay, or the 4th series, right? So we will also have another guest speaker who will be speaking or giving like a motivation, how to be a champion even during a crisis. So it's also a communication, but how do you communicate even when you're low, kind of thing. Okay. So especially now with the current situation, right? A lot of us feel that we are locked. Okay, we can't move much, but yet there are certain people who are still becoming a champion on their own. So that's where this guy is going to share the session. So I'll be the one moderating the session. So do let them know. He's actually one of the famous speaker in India. He spoke last year in IBCN in Chennai. Okay, so I managed to invite him, so he'll be speaking next week. So just wait for my posters. I'll be releasing it probably another couple of days. All right. So let's say after this session you have any more clarifications, okay, even about the session that you had we had last week or 2 weeks before, don't worry, you can always drop message or email or WhatsApp to me, okay, or you can even we can get connected to Instagram or Facebook, okay, so you can always clarify with me things. Okay, so there's a session. Yes, is the guest speaker is also Nagartar? Yes, he's also a Nagartar, right? So he's actually from Chennai, and his name is also, if I'm not mistaken, Chidambaram. Okay, so he was one of the speaker for the youth section or youth segment last year in Chennai for the IBCN. All right. So he is actually one of the Pangali for one of our attendees who's attending our session today and even last 2 weeks. Okay, so that's how I get connected with him. All right. So so if there's not much question, okay, let me give you back another 5 minutes for you. So thanks a lot for your support. I really appreciate your time. I hope you have gained something today. And don't worry, I'll actually share the slides as usual and also the recording with you. Okay. So should you have any clarification, not to worry. So do let me know in future or just ping me through WhatsApp or email. You can just let me know. All right. So thanks a lot for attending today. Hope you have gained some knowledge or some tips from what I've shared today. So thanks a lot. Have a great week and a great evening for the rest of the weekend. Thank you. See you all soon.